I must admit I don't feel fully prepared to do this review, but I sort of just finished Life is Strange and I thought I'd just go through what I thought of the last episode. So spoiler alert, this is my review of Life is Strange. This episode did feel like the weakest one. I just kind of feel like, especially with the repercussions, I kind of feel like Max, logically by this time, would already have known the dangers of the amount of, you know, time changing, time traveling, all the stuff that she was doing. Because obviously she was doing big jumps, big leaps in time travel this time around. Whereas before it was just a little bit of reversing time. But it was all, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like even if you're reversing it back a minute, a second, or you're full on jumping to like a couple of years ago, it's all time travel in the end. It's all manipulating time. And I just feel like logically she would have already noticed, you know, the big changes that were happening. And before I get into the main review, I just wanted to talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack, the whole series, the soundtrack has been pretty amazing. I think this is the kind of soundtrack that I would buy. I've just loved the music, I love the atmosphere.
I can't believe I'm in San Francisco. How can I process this after all the death I've seen this week? I wish Chloe was here with me now. Without her, I couldn't have fought Jefferson.
Especially the intro music, like when you start the game. So the mystery was solved in the previous episode. To be honest, Mr. Jefferson didn't really seem like the kind of character who would do this sort of thing until you actually see him in action.
More close-ups. Please do not move so much. I need you posed and framed my way.
When you see how deranged he is, you kind of understand it, but it's such a huge, like, contrast to his classroom persona.
I believe Max has taken what you kids call a selfie.
It's just so weird. A character I was really happy to see redeem himself was Mr. Madsen. I'm really happy to see him redeem himself because I knew he was a good character. You can tell he's one of those characters that is portrayed in a negative light, but is actually has good intentions at heart. You know, he just came across really rough, you know, that's just his character.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Don't thank me. You brought me here.
And on to Warren. I felt like Warren has always been just a nice, sweet character, just really likable, you know, there's nothing wrong you could really say about him. I had to make sure that they kissed just because I felt like they're such a good couple, and
For luck.
you know, it was the right opportunity because you never know what was gonna happen. You know, what I really like is this scene that I'm about to show. It's just the different ways that it could have played out, and it's genuinely different. I know a lot of persons say it's a variant of the same thing, but I feel like, you know, I haven't seen that sort of thing in Telltale games, for example, you know. I felt like this scene was really well done amongst other scenes, you know. Just felt like you really could actually, yeah, you had different, it just made you think. And the sequence that I didn't like, that made me not really like this episode, was Max's nightmare. I guess it was a nightmare when she was going through that whole way and all the different things that she did. That was genuinely creepy, you know. They should actually have a sequence like that in an actual horror game, because I felt like that was actually genuinely creepy.
Right when I was about to start
Honey,
a new
I
life.
So this is how Max gets her revenge on.
And now you're gonna take me
So
away.
this is how Max gets her revenge on.
Every time she travels in time, she opens a new hole that she has to fix. You know, a new loophole in the storyline. Like, there's always some sort of repercussions, and I feel like I commend them for including that in the storyline because that is realistic.
This is my storm. I caused this. I caused all of this.
My final choice was to sacrifice Arcadia Bay, and that was an unpopular choice, I was part of the low percentage. The reason why I ended up choosing that is because I felt like with all the effort that she took to save everyone that she had chosen to save, Chloe in particular, all the time travel she did was for Chloe. Like, I know she did travel back to help other people, but it was all about Chloe.
Not you.
I just just felt like all the effort she took, all that stuff, you know, I don't know whether or not people really died, because that ending was really ambiguous. They just showed people driving, they just showed those two at the end driving through at the end, so I don't know if people really died at the end of all of that. But, you know, Chloe's not a character I liked. You know, if it was up to me, maybe I would choose for her to die, but I could see how much Max really cared about her. Overall, I would give this episode in particular a 7 out of 10, maybe even less than that. Like I said, I wasn't happy about most of it. The overall series itself, I would actually give a 9 out of 10, if not a 10 out of 10 actually, because I feel like the storyline was amazing, the music was amazing, the characters were good. They weren't complex, but they were, at least they weren't stereotypical. Last episode was a little bit disappointing, but it was good. It was well done. Really good game. And I look forward to it, and look forward to it having a sequel. I don't know, or just having the same creators make a different game. I don't know if I want to see any more stuff to do with them, you know. Maybe that's just the end of it anyway. Next game that I might review is Assassin's Creed. I don't know. I feel like they're the same every year, so I probably just won't do that. But yeah, that's it. That's Life is Strange.